So for one version of the book, I changed the name to Coldwater, C-O-A-L-W-A-T-E-R, and we read the whole thing, watched it through, and I mean, when you change it, that's like a million changes, because if you see in the book, Coldwater appears like a gazillion times. Fortunately, on a computer today, you can just hit one button and it changes the whole thing. So I read it, I said, that doesn't really feel right, because it's not cold water, that's dirty water. And then I changed it to Coldwater, C-O-L-W-A-T-E-R, and we did a whole version like that, and that didn't really seem right. So then, at one point, I spoke to somebody from your newspaper here, I think. Is that what it was? Is there a Coldwater news? Is that
yeah,
you I spoke to? So, remind me of your name again?
Gary Baker.
Gary. So, I asked Gary, I said, do you think everybody's going to be angry at me that this isn't the real Coldwater? He said, no, I was happy to get in there any which way, you know. And he said that the town's kind of similar. And so we all figured that we were okay. And then the nice people here at Taylor's asked if I would come out here because it was Coldwater. And so I said, sure, just so we have to find a slot on the book tour. And they had booked everything literally right up to Christmas. Thus, I'm here today as the last stop of my book tour. This is it. After I'm done, I've been all over the country. I've been in San Francisco and Houston, Los Angeles, and Miami, and Chicago, and Saratoga Springs, and 1,000 million places in Detroit. And this is it. When I sign the last book here, no more book signings on the book. I can actually start my own Christmas at that point. So it's fitting that it ends up here. But please know that. So when we were doing the last part of this is when we were doing the final edits on the book. When it went into the end, I kept thinking about it. I said, gee, I don't want anybody in the real Coldwater to be in any way feel slighted or anything. So I said, could we add a page to the book where we explain to people that this isn't the real Coldwater? And those of you who have read the book or own it now or have it, there is a page right in the back that says, this is a fictional town, but there is a real Coldwater, and it's a very nice place, so you should visit it.
Yeah, there you go.
Hopefully you'll get some people to come in here, you know, and if they're saying, is this the real one, you say, and you have my permission to say, yes, this is the real place. We did used to get phone calls from heaven here. We don't anymore because there was just too much publicity for the town. So you can tell them whenever you like, and I'm perfectly fine with this being the real one if you want to portray it as such. But hopefully the book is something that you can embrace beyond the reasons of just the name of your town, because behind it all is the idea that, you know, I wrote it really because my mother suffered a stroke, a very bad stroke, right at the time that I started conceiving the book, and she lost the ability to speak. And I haven't heard her speak now in 3.5 years. And I had a mother who, you know, when I was a kid, it was like, when's she going to stop talking? And then when you lose somebody's voice, you really realize how much of the relationship you lose. And even though she's still alive, thank God, and I can hold her hand and look at her, I'm not sure she knows it's me, and not having that voice to confirm anything is really, really lonely, you know. And so I began to notice how people would save answering machine messages just to hear people after they died. You know, they hold on to the most mundane sentences. Let's go shopping tomorrow, you know, I'll meet you at Costco, that kind of thing. My wife lost her sister, in fact, that's to whom the book is dedicated, at the same time, about 3 years ago, and has not turned on her cell phone since, because she feels that somehow if she turns on the cell phone, she's going to lose all the messages that are in it from her sister. And even though I don't think it actually works that way, I haven't had the heart to tell her that, you know, okay, we'll leave the phone unused if you feel that her voice is in there. And yet we live at a time where we have more phones than ever, but we don't use them to talk to one another, you know? I mean, we text, we Facebook, we Instagram, we do all those things, but, you know, just try to get a teenager to actually answer a cell phone. It's never done. My nephew, who was 18 at the time, came into America, and he was raised overseas, and he came in and he went to a prom with somebody here. And when he came back from the prom, I said, how was it? He said, well, it was okay, but everybody at the table was texting. I said, well, that's kind of what happens here in America. Everybody sort of texts one another when they're someplace. They text their friends someplace else. He says, no, they were texting each other. this worries me greatly for our young people because, you know, we're losing that ability to just communicate with one another. And, you know, there's a reason that the book isn't called The First Text from Heaven, you know. Nobody remembers you after you're gone in the way you used to text them. But they do remember conversation. So I hope that this book encourages people to cherish the conversations that they have, particularly this time of year, with their loved ones and with their family, you know, so that they don't have to lament it when it's gone. Because like I can tell you with my mom, there are so many conversations I wish I had with her now, because I never thought that she wouldn't be able to talk. And so if you have anything like that in your life, please cherish it and hang on to it. And if you have a little miracle happen to you like happens to the people in the book, my feeling is miracles happen every single day of our lives. And we call them coincidence, we call it luck, we call it, wow, wasn't that something? But I wouldn't be standing here having had the things happen to me in my life if there wasn't something bigger going on than just me. And so I think if a little miracle happens to you like to these people, you don't have to prove it to the whole world. It doesn't have to be scientifically ordained. It's enough that it happens to you. So I hope that some of those things do happen to you during this holiday season and beyond. As far as this book signing process here, like I said, this is the last book signing I have, so it's not like I need to run out, except that I have to go watch our Lions probably lose their but that's not till later this afternoon. So I'll stay here until everybody's books are signed. You don't have to worry about that. And there's no limit on what you can get or anything like that. I just, you know, if you want to do all your Christmas shopping here in Taylor's and give them the money, that's fine by me. The only thing that I ask for is that try to keep the messages short, you know, like to a name and a Merry Christmas or something like that. If you have a nephew who wants to go into journalism and you want the 10 most important things, this is not the time to do that, okay? You would not believe sometimes people bring messages and it's really just a letter from them to the other person. And I'm writing the whole thing, you know, and it doesn't really make sense. You should write that and I'll sign it. But other than that, I'm happy to write in whatever you like. And if you get up to the front and you forget something, or you forget a relative, I don't think you have to go to the back of the line. You can just grab a book up here, paper. Come on, it's Coldwater.
That's right.
Where are you going to go? I do ask, though, at the nice people who are running the store here, if there is anybody in this line who's using a cane or a walker or a wheelchair of any kind, please let them come up to the front, all right? And if there's anybody here, like this one with young children, would you please let them come up to the front, too? It's very difficult to wait online with little kids. And you probably don't want to stand behind that anyhow, you see, because he'll be in your lap at any moment. Other than that, I can't tell you what a delightful surprise this is to see so many people here on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. I mean, I had no idea what to expect. I was telling Kim, the guy who drove with me, I said, we'll probably be out of here in 45 minutes. And that's probably not going to happen, actually. But thank you so very much for coming out. It's so kind of you. Thank you for letting me adopt the name of your town. They're talking about making a movie of this book now, and a movie. And I promise I will encourage the directors and these people, if they go through with it, to actually keep the town name Coldwater. I can't say that they'll film it here, but, you know, but I'll try to make sure that they don't change it to something cuter in some way, you know, something Hollywoodish. We'll keep it Coldwater, and hopefully maybe they come and at least film the sign here, if nothing else. So God bless all of you. Have a wonderful holiday, and I look forward to meeting all of you when you find your way through this store. All right, and thank you, Taylors, for being so kind to have me here. Everybody I talked to about Coldwater, and when I mentioned you, oh, Taylor's, well, that's the greatest, oh, they're right, the center of town, they're the great bookstore. You have like this reputation that precedes you.
Yes, I do.
Way outside of the whole community. So this is, to me, I've been to a lot of Barnes & Nobles and a lot of, you know, chain bookstores, which are wonderful, but my books have always started in places like this, small bookstores, independent bookstores, where you go in and you go, you got anything good to read, or would my mother like this, or would my grandmother like it, and the people behind the counter know what they're talking about, and they pass the book around. That's how Tuesdays with Morrie turned into Tuesdays with Morrie. You know, that book came out, and it didn't hit the bestsellers list for months, and the reason what was happening was stores like this or handing it to people and saying, you should read this, you should read this. So I thank you very, very much, tailors and people like that, for helping me with my books. And I won't delay any longer because you all have to get home to watch something on TV or do more shopping. All right, so thank you very much for coming out. I look forward to meeting you.